A New Jersey student waiting tables over the summer to help get herself through college encountered a surprising note on one of her diner's checks the other week. After a particularly busy and crowded dinner hour at said diner, she encountered one of her diner's checks, which was for $112.32, and in the tip section they wrote, "LOL, food was an hour late." The waitress took to Facebook the next day, proclaiming that such a joke was, quote, "not funny, especially for waitresses who rely on tips." The waitress called the experience cruel and unnecessary, but was quick to add that not all customers are this way. She's quoted as saying, "Be good to your waitresses. We know it's annoying when the food takes forever because the kitchen's crowded and when you get a hefty bill, but please be good to us. We are kind people. Don't be like Mr. Pink and skip out on the tip because you don't have a soul."
Reports says that in Ohio, there's literally a giant red ball rolling down the streets of Toledo. The ball grazed stop signs and ran over cars and was eventually stopped by 4 individuals. So if you see any giant red balls rolling down the street, report it immediately.
Many schools use their mascots as symbols of their athleticism or the proficiency of their athletic programs. LSU has Mike the Tiger, Campbell University, oddly enough, has Gaylord the Camel, and here at St. Paul's, we have our wolf, here in the Gene Bennett Sports Complex. Hidden behind the clutter of progress and renovation is our symbol of our athleticism. But where did this wolf come from? Who brought him here? And most importantly, why is he here?
The wolf was a donation from one of our wonderful donors, Mr. Joel Champagne, 1975 graduate.
His son came here. He has been an ongoing supporter of the school for many, many years. He was a board member for many years. He has been involved with St. Paul's athletics. I'm not sure how that came about. I do know it arrived. I don't think he gave us funds for the purpose of the wolf. I think it's my understanding he found it or saw it somewhere on a trip and felt it was something that would be appropriate for our gymnasium, and so he donated it to us.
While many would think that this wolf was welcomed with open arms when it first came to the campus, rumor has it that it was actually met with intense backlash. Some of the faculty wondered where it would go on campus, and others were concerned because that particular species of wolf was endangered at the time, and they didn't want to promote the hunting of this particular species.
How long about has the wolf been here?
Oh gosh, maybe about 10 years. It was shortly after, I believe, the St. Jude Center was renovated. We now call it the Gene Bennett Sports Complex. But I think it was shortly after that was renovated. That was 15 years ago, so 10, 12 years, something like that.
We had a Name the Wolf contest, and I believe the official name is Pride.
Do you think that name represents our school and our athletic program well?
I think it does. I think it's very synonymous with our program. I think that our kids play together as a team, and I think that we represent our school and our parents and our family names very well. I'm not sure if we would consider it a landmark, but it is definitely something worth seeing when you come on this campus. You know, I mean, as far as it's definitely something that when you come on this campus, you want to seek it out and find it.
Statues, signs, monuments, they're all over our 100-plus-year-old campus. I think the wolf certainly is more of an athletic type of symbol, but yeah, I think it adds to the overall atmosphere of the campus in a very nice way.
The building of the new gym will provide us an opportunity to maybe relocate it into a more prominent location.
There's been some discussion about that, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there's a proper place in the new gym. The lobby in the new gym is not quite as large as in the older gym, and we'll have to see if it fits over there. But Let me say this. I wish it had a better spot, and I'd like to find a place that looked a little more permanent, a little more built for that for the wolf, not that we just stuck him in the lobby, which is what it looks like now.
So now we know more about the wolf. We know where it came from, we know who gave it to the school, and we know where it's going to be in the future. But none of that matters. What's most important about the wolf is what it represents: honor, athleticism, and pride. Potentially one of the strangest headlines I've ever read. Rapper Wiz Khalifa was arrested at Los Angeles International Airport for riding a hoverboard. Let me explain. A hoverboard is essentially a Segway without any handlebars. You're supposed to lean on it, it's got two wheels at the bottom. Very popular among the rap community and rich people in general. Anyway, back to the point. Mr. Wizard was arrested after the cops repeatedly told him to get off of his hoverboard, and he simply said no. Eventually, the officers made a scene and pinned him to the ground, telling him to stop resisting, even though he was just lying there motionless, also saying, "I'm not resisting." And I wouldn't think that he'd resist. I mean, have you seen the guy? He looks like the cinnamon stick from Apple Jacks. He's not very threatening. To be fair, if Wiz Khalifa had said, "Yeah, I'll get off," he wouldn't have been arrested. But to be extra fair, if the cops hadn't decided to see a mainstream rapper and try to make a scene, this wouldn't have happened at all. Wiz Khalifa tweeted a small video snippet of the arrest saying, "Haven't been handcuffed in a while, that was fun." So now the whole world knows these officers, knows their faces, and knows that they decided to make a scene in this airport. So was that really a good idea, officers, especially with the current social climate of racial profiling in the police? You should have thought about that a little bit.
William Nicklaus in the New York Police Department has been struggling with leukemia for 5 years now. A fellow officer decided to show William how much the department loves and cherishes him. 50 members of the police department, including 2 women, decided to shave their head in love for William. A picture was taken of all 50 officers and shown to William in the hospital, and report says he was tremendously moved.
Hello and welcome to Guerilla Wolves Sports News. I'm Nick Goob.
And I'm Jeff Champ.
Our first story comes to us from the campus of LSU. As most of you probably have heard, unless you've been living under a rock, Jalen Mills is out with an unspecified leg injury. He is expected to be back within 4 to 6 weeks, though he probably will be back for the Auburn game, which is considered LSU's first big game. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this is the nail in the coffin for LSU season. It's all over.
But a defensive back injury is never the end for
LSU is called DBU for a reason, people. There are countless other safeties on LSU's roster that can easily come in, be plugged in, and do incredible for the Tigers.
Nevertheless, LSU looks slotted for another great season. Our next story covers sophomore Saints wide receiver Brandon Cooks.
In the past 2 preseason games, Brandon Cooks has impressed all the coaches in limited time and limited targets.
Brandon Cooks has started to receive praise from NFL greats such as Bill Belichick and Randy Moss.
He has started to being compared to Wes Welker, the former Patriots slot receiver. And now, while these might be kind of skewed and not completely accurate, there is truth behind them. Both players possess great hands, sharp route running, and deceptive speed.
Cooks is definitely looking like a great long-term wide receiver for the Saints.
It looks like this year, the Saints will do much better than they did last year. And that's all for Guerilla Wolves Sports News.
See you next time.
What are you looking forward to in the 2015-2016 school year?
Well, I'm looking forward to another successful athletic season, highlighted by our 10 seniors in wrestling this year, really having an outstanding season and getting in the top 3 at least. And quite frankly, ending up with a few more rings, like you see on my desk. I have room for 3 more.
I'm looking forward to the best senior class that we've ever had.
I already peaked at the March to the Arch.
The kids actually wanted to learn and do some
Service with the Key Club!
no.
Don't. MJ, son. Never. Wait. And always. MJ, son. MJ. Hello, MJ. This is our new symbol.
All right, so basically, I'm looking forward to all the upcoming events this year, such as football games, pep rallies, things of that nature. And advice to give to the kids is stand up for yourself.
It's quite a big accomplishment to be named Athlete of the Month. How does it feel?
You know, it feels pretty good. I had gotten a letter the previous year about it, but I had no chance to go to the banquet. So this year, took the time off to go to it. But I feel really happy about it. It's a great accomplishment.
How does it feel to be one of the coaches of the cross country team at St. Paul?
Great. Great honor.
How long have you been a coach?
This is my 15th year in St. Paul.
So how many miles would you say you run a day?
Usually we run about 6, you know. It's a lot, actually, when you think about it. Total is up. Usually if we do 6, counting the warm-up every day, and then our long run on the weekend, get about 50 miles at the max. Warm up a mile, cool down a mile. Once we start speed work, we do 2-mile warm-up and a 2-mile cool down. But that'll be on Monday and Wednesday, so that takes away 2 days of distance during the week. And then on the long run, usually 10 miles, depending on how you feel. I'd say this is about my 12th year total, starting off as a sprinter and then going into a distance runner, but my 3rd year at St. Paul's.
So when did you start running competitively?
I'd say competitively 2nd grade. Started off running like the local meets at Trafton in kindergarten and 1st grade, and then I did AAU, but I might have went to a national meet, but I didn't do all that well. Well, I missed like my first event one time, but starting in 2nd grade, that's when I started getting a little bit faster and at the top of the age group.
What would you like to say to people who are considering running cross country?
I say do it only if you feel like doing it, because you're gonna have to try hard no matter what you do. But only do it if you really are interested in it. Don't just go out there to just be a part of something. Just do it if you really want to. Don't lollygag and don't try to make it a joke or anything.
What are your hopes for this season?
I think we're going to win state.
Hopefully state champion again. That's the biggest thing, and mostly the team state championship as well.